Ardennes is a department in the Grand Est region of northeastern France named after the border. Ardennes. Its prefecture is the town Charleville-Mézières. The inhabitants of the department are known as Ardennais or Ardennisers. The department is landlocked by the French departments of Aisne to the west, Marne to the south, Meuse to the east and the Belgian province of Namur to the north. The district is crossed in its northern part by the winding Meuse Valley where most people live and activities are focused. Charleville-Mézières and Sedan are the main urban centers. It is in the catchment of the Academy of Reims and the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal of Reims. The statistical code and postcode prefix is 08. Ardennes is part of the Ardennes, a plateau deeply cut by the Meuse and its many tributaries which reach into Wallonia in Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, and the north of the neighboring department of Meuse, covering 5,229 square kilometers. The department was the smallest among the four contributors to Champagne-Ardenne. It is diverse in climate, topography, natural vegetation and land use, which is a mixture of forest and arable farming. The highest point is 504 meters, on the southern slopes of the Croix sky shared by French commune Les Hautes-Rivières and the Belgian commune of Gedern. It is in this part of the Ardennes mountains or high hills that the Meuse winds through, known locally as the Valley, flowing into the northern part of the department. It waters the main cities of Sedan, Charleville-Mézières, and Nozonville. It has numerous tributaries, the main ones locally being the Semois and the Chiers. As to the south, the Aisne flows through the vast near treeless plain of Champagne chalk extended to the southwest by the small, grain-growing Porcien, Thiérache in the west and Argonne in the east are fringe grasslands with very distinctive upper soils. A typical landscape of Champagne chalk in the south of the department. View of the Meuse Valley in the north of the department at Givet. Farm of Porcien in the southwest of the department. The department does not have a uniform climate throughout its territory, especially most winters. From the north near Aisne and the border with Belgium, through the center near the canton of Aumont, to the south of the valley of the Meuse, the climate is considered degraded continental. The rest of the department has a degraded oceanic or temperate continental climate. All this stems from location, midway between the English Channel, the North Sea and parts of the continent relatively far from any sea. Winter can be as cold as in a continental lowland Europe, some winters, and quite often snowier, particularly near main settlements Rocroi, Givet and Sedan in the north. This climatic difference is particularly pronounced in the presence of frost, especially in the valleys of the Meuse, Semois, the plateau of Rocroi, and around the Croix sky where it can be very marked and persists longer in the year with great influence on vegetation. Across lands further west and south frontal zones are tempered more by the English Channel, Bay of Biscay and North Sea. Nearby seeing quite flat terrain, isolated small ranges or lower regions of hills. Excluding the mountains across much of the southeastern third of France. Despite a high birth rate, there were 330,000 people at the end of the 19th century. That the major urban areas of the department are the most affected is characterized by a stagnation of the population, a population decline of up to 2% compared to 1999 in the city centers and suburbs. The communes, however, are gaining inhabitants. This is explained by the search for better living in the countryside, which matches the desire of many people to build a small land holding, typically a house with land, to the detriment of their proximity to their workplace. This highly contemporary concept favors commuting between home and work. This is the phenomenon of suburbanization which has become common in the whole of France, from which Ardennes does not escape. On the 1st of January 2006, the Ardennes population stood at 295,653 inhabitants. The population is declining in urban areas but 5 times less than in rural areas. The limited decline in the urban space where 2/3 of the Ardennes people live is the result of two opposite dynamics. Semi-urban communes have gained 0.5% of inhabitants per year over the period 1999 to 2006 at the expense of urban centers, which lost 0.6% per year. For 30 years the population has lagged in the main cities of Ardennes. Between 1999 and 2006, the annual decline was 0.2% for Sedan and Rethel, 1.8% for Rouen, and 1% for Charleville-Mézières. The most unfavorable rural population change came from degradation of rural employment centers, such as Fumé-Vouziers, and to a lesser extent that of their periphery. This was slightly mitigated by a small increase in population in other rural communes. Population of Maine too.